So today I am going to discuss about income tax authorities. And before we discuss income tax authorities, let me tell you a few points about Income Tax Act of 1961. So in India, the tax was introduced for the first time by Sir James Wilson in order to meet the expenses or the losses sustained due to military mutiny of 1857. Actually, it was introduced in 1860 and thereafter several amendments have been made in the Tax Act or tax system, and finally the Income Tax Act of 1961 came to effect. And here in this topic we are going to discuss about different authorities of income tax. Actually, if we discuss about income tax authorities, the government of India has constituted many income tax authorities for the proper administration of income tax in India. So, income tax authorities are defined under section 116 of the Income Tax Act. Actually, the government of India constituted a number of authorities to execute income tax and to control the tax department. And it is mentioned in chapter 13 of Income Tax Act of 1961, and the chapter 13 is especially devoted to income tax authorities, and it contains 30 sections, and part A contains section 116 to 119, which is related to the appointment and control of income tax authorities. And part B is from 120 to 130, and which is related to the jurisdiction of income tax authorities. And there the area the different authorities can work is mentioned. Then part C is from 131 to 136, and which is connected with the powers of income tax authorities. And here you can see the different powers that can be exercised by income tax authorities. And part D contains section 137 and 138, which is related to the disclosure of information related to different assessees. So if the authorities want to disclose some information related to the SSC, they are using the sections 137 and 138. And now we can see the different authorities of income tax. So as I said before, for the proper administration of income tax, the government of India has constituted around 7 administrative authorities. And the first one is Central Board of Direct Taxes, which is constituted under the Central Board of Revenue Act of 1963. And you can say that this is the apex body of income tax authority, and the things are managed by the Central Board of Direct Taxes. And below that you can see a Director General or Chief Commissioner of Income Tax. Then the next authority is Director of Income Tax or Commissioner of Income Tax. Here you can see two categories of officials, that is one for dealing with general affairs of income tax and the other is for dealing appeal related activities. And the same way the next level authority is Joint Directors of Income Tax or Joint Commissioners of Income Tax. Here also two subdivisions are there for dealing general affairs and for dealing appeal. Then the next category is Deputy Directors of Income Tax or Deputy Commissioners of Income Tax, and here also you can see general and appeal, that is for dealing with the general affairs of income tax and for dealing with different cases, that is the appeal officers are dealing with appeal related activities. And below that you can see Assistant Director of Income Tax or Assistant Commissioners of Income Tax. And below that you can see income tax officers, tax recovery officers and inspectors of income tax. So these are the different authorities of income tax, starting with CBDT or Central Board of Direct Taxes and ends with inspectors of income tax. Now we see the appointment of income tax authorities with section 117 of Income Tax Act of 1961. So the authorities are mainly appointed by central government, and central government can appoint any person as it thinks fit to be income tax authorities under section 117 of Income Tax Act of 1961. And the central government even authorizes Central Board of Direct Taxes to appoint different authorities below the rank of an assistant commissioner or deputy commissioners. And even the income tax authorities have the right to appoint different ministerial staff who are necessary for the proper execution of different functions of Income Tax Act of 1961. So, mainly we can say that these authorities are appointed either by the central government or by Central Board of Direct Taxes or by different income tax authorities, and these people are selected on the basis of different qualification prescribed by the central government. Now we see the control of income tax authorities. Normally the income tax authorities are controlled by central government and Central Board of Direct Taxes, and board may by notification in the official gazette direct income tax authority or authorities. And for this the board may issue orders, instructions to different income tax authorities, and they will also delegate some people for the proper execution of this act. So that's all with the control of income tax authorities. Now we'll see the apex body of direct taxes, and which is called Central Board of Direct Taxes, CBDT. And before we discuss about the Central Board of Direct Taxes, there are 7 income tax authorities constitute to execute administrative functions of income tax department. And among them, as I said before, the apex authority is Central Board of Direct Taxes. And Central Board of Direct Taxes works under Ministry of Finance, and it has the power of administration, supervision and control, and these powers can be extended all over India for the proper execution of income tax, and it can be extended over the whole income tax department. The Central Board of Direct Taxes has the power to make rules, issue orders, instructions and direction to all officers and persons employed in the execution of different provisions of the Act. So we can say that Central Board of Direct Taxes is the apex authority, and that authority is constituted for the purpose of executing the different functions or different activities which are formulated by them for the proper administration of income tax department as well as for the proper administration of Income Tax Act of 1961. Now let's see the different composition of CBDT or the different members of CBDT. So CBDT consists of a chairman and 6 members for dealing with different areas of income tax administration, and those people are appointed by central government. So it is headed by a chairman, and the different members are from different areas of income tax administration. And we can say that 1 member from income tax and 1 for dealing with legislation and computerization, and other member is for dealing with personnel and vigilance, and the next member is for dealing with investigation activities, and 1 member for dealing with the revenue activities, and the other one is for dealing with audit and judicial. So this is the composition of CBDT, and it is headed by chairman, and other different members are there for dealing with different areas comes under income tax administration. Now we are going to discuss the different powers of CBDT. So Income Tax Act of 1961 prescribes certain powers to income tax authorities. Especially we are going to discuss these powers from the point of view of CBDT. Normally the powers of CBDT are classified into general powers and special powers. Now discuss the different general powers that are given to income tax authorities. The first general power is power regarding discovery and production of evidence which is under section 131 of Income Tax Act of 1961. So under this title, the income tax officers or CBDT has the obligation to discover and inspection, or they will be able to discover the evidence, they can do inspection, and they can enforce the attendance of any person, including any officer of a banking company, to collect information regarding a particular matter. So under this power, the officers are allowed to enforce the attendance of different people, and even if they want to collect particular information, they are authorized to collect such information from any officials, including an officer of a banking company. So under this power, even they can compel the different assessees or people to produce books of accounts. They can compel the assessee to produce books of accounts if they find any fault in the books of accounts. And even the authority has the power to issue commission, and the commission can call for information and examine books of accounts relevant to any proceedings. And we can say that while exercising these powers, the income tax authorities act as a quasi-judicial authority. The sense is that they have the right, or they can conform with the principles of judicial procedure, or they need to follow the judicial procedure when they deal with discovery and production of evidence under section 131. So we can say that under discovery and production of evidence, an income tax authority has the capacity to call for any information, books of accounts, and they can collect information, they can take the attendance, including a banking officer, and this gives them a judicial power, or they want to conform with the principles of judicial procedure. And the next general power is power of search and seizure, section 132. And here the income tax authorities are given wide powers for the search and seizure, and they have the right to search and seizure the evaded revenue. They can find out the defaulted tax, see the books of accounts and documents, and even the authorities have the power to possess such books of accounts if they find any default in the accounting system, or if the assessee evaded any revenue. And normally such powers are delegated to lower level income tax authorities. So even we are saying this is one of the powers of CBDT, these powers are mostly delegated to the lower level income tax authorities, and normally lower level income tax authorities are doing search and seizure under section 132. The next general power, that is power to call for information, which is under section 133. And the CBDT has the power to call for information on account of different aspects of income tax. And they are, if it is a partnership firm, the authority can ask the partnership firm to submit the register of partnership, the partners' details, that is their name and address and their shareholdings. And if it is an HUF, then the income tax authorities can ask them to furnish information including the name and address of manager and members of the family. And even the authority can require any assessee to furnish any statement including name and address, details of interest, commission or rent paid in the previous year, and any other relevant information. And even the authority can ask a broker or a stock dealer to furnish information regarding the management of stock or commodity exchanges or any other details of transfer of asset or shares. So the authorities have the power to call for information which may be related to a partnership firm or may be related to an HUF, or if it is related to an SSC or even a broker or dealer, they can demand information. Then the next general power is power to conduct income tax survey, and it is under section 133A. Income tax authorities have the power to conduct survey, and most of the time these surveys are conducted in order to discover new assets, to collect information for the purpose of assessment, to verify books of accounts, to conduct surprise checking, and to make statistical data. So the income tax authorities can conduct different tax surveys, and through these tax surveys they will be able to identify even new assets, they can collect information, and even they can prepare statistical data that may be beneficial for the income tax department. And the next general power is collection of information, that is section 133 subsection 3. And for the purpose of collecting information which may be useful for any purpose, the income tax authority can enter any building or place or area assigned to such authority. So if a particular authority want to collect information related to an assessee, they have the full right to enter a place or a building to collect information. When income tax authorities enter a place or building, then he has to see he have the proper jurisdiction for gathering information, or before he enter a place or a building for collecting information, he has to see he has sufficient power or authority for collecting such information. That means he has to see his jurisdiction for gathering such information. Next, power to inspect registers of company under section 134. So CBDT has the power to inspect the official registers of any joint stock company, and such registers may be register of members, register of bonds, register of debentures, and even they can check articles of association, memorandum of association, and the different contract done by the company. So they have the power to inspect registers of a company under section 134. And the next one is to make enquiries, section 135. And income tax authorities are competent to make enquiries, and for this purpose they can exercise the powers of a lower level authority like an assessing officer, and these enquiries can be conducted by the income tax authorities if they found there is any tax evasion or default in taxes. So this power is given to income tax authorities as per section 135 of Income Tax Act of 1961. So these are the common general powers given to CBDT. Now we can discuss the next category of powers. They are special powers. The first one is instruction to subordinate authorities, and which is under section 119. That means the CBDT has the power to make changes in the existing income tax policy based upon the economic and social conditions prevailing in the country. So based upon the current economical and social condition, CBDT or Central Board of Direct Taxes will make amendments in the existing laws, and that amendments will be communicated to the subordinate authorities for the proper execution. So CBDT will provide orders and instructions to the subordinate authorities regarding the changes that have been made in the existing income tax policy. And even they can issue orders for the relaxation of certain provisions of Income Tax Act with the permission of central government as per section 119 subsection 2 clause A. And based upon the overall economic, financial, physical and mental condition of the assessee, CBDT have special power to grant relaxation of time limit on account of different aspects of Income Tax Act, section 119, subsection 2, clause B. So here you can say that the CBDT will grant a relaxation of time limit if they found that a particular assessee is suffering from certain problem which is related to the mental or physical, or he have financial problem or economical problem, then time limit will be extended to those assessees which is based upon section 119 subsection 2 clause B. And in case of any conflict between the assessee and assessing officer regarding the deductions mentioned under Income Tax Act, then it will be settled and finalized by the CBDT, and for this the CBDT will instruct subordinate authorities to settle the case amicably under section 119 subsection 2 clause C. So these are the different instructions given by subordinate authority as part of special power by the CBDT. And the next special power is introducing new income tax policy. So as we discussed before, based upon the economical and social conditions prevailing in the country, the CBDT will make rules, regulations for the proper administration of Income Tax Act, and it is always done with the permission of Parliament. And moreover, the CBDT will act as an advisor for framing income tax policy, and even they provide different suggestions to Finance Ministry for the proper execution of Income Tax Act in India. The next special power is appointment of additional income tax authorities. So CBDT has the power to appoint additional income tax authorities not below the rank of a Deputy Commissioner of Income Tax after getting authorization by central government. So if they need sufficient staff for the proper administration of income tax, the CBDT has the power to appoint tax authorities not below the rank of a Deputy Commissioner of Income Tax after getting permission from central government. And next is issue injunction order. That is, the CBDT can issue injunction order to any lower level authority to stop the processor, or if they have processed any books of accounts, documents, or any other things by the lower level authority. So they can tell them to stop the proceedings against a particular assessee by issuing an injunction order. And the next one is concurrent function or close function. So here the CBDT will appoint more than one income tax authorities to operate in a particular area irrespective of the jurisdiction. So two or more different authorities can function in a particular area without considering the jurisdiction of authorities. That is known as concurrent function or close function. So CBDT have special power to appoint more authorities without considering the jurisdiction. And that's all with the different powers of CBDT. And here we have seen the special powers as well as general powers of income tax authorities. And normally these powers are exercised by the Income Tax Department as per Income Tax Act of 1961 for the proper administration of income tax. Thank you.